I'm just going to roll into this, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time and so forth. Just want to walk through, kind of our normal process that we go through in this business. Obviously, this is the eXcelerate Team and Apprentice Talk, and number one, in regardless whether you're building this business or another business, it's very important to put our goals and dreams in front of us. Have a vision board, something that represents what you want to accomplish in the future, and causes you to remember why you're doing what you're doing. All starts with your why and being smart about what you do and putting your future together. This is actually an older vision board of mine. My family on the left-hand side, I got three daughters, three weddings. Definitely had to do well financially to cover those weddings, and just the different things. Get rid of debt, which removes a lot of stress out of your life. Just travel. Most of mine rotates around family, and we do love to travel. One of the ways to do that is a long plan, what we call the long game in this business, and it's developing a rev share organization, an organization that really it's not like building a team, it's building an organization. And the difference between building a team and an organization is that a team requires all your time. You kind of have to babysit agents, and nothing wrong with that, but you have to kind of, put a lot of time. Where when you build an organization, you're working with agents who know what they're doing, who you're working with, and you're just showing them how to do what they're doing it better. And especially with the offering that we have with Funnel Pilot. And one of the things I realize is want to share this as the potential. I mean, if you just attracted 10 agents your first year, and they attracted 10 who attracted five in a period of 5 years, if everybody was a capping agent, this is what your organization would look like. Brent is working on a new rev share calculator. It's a lot simpler to use. And I have a copy of it, but I'm not allowed to share it. So I've been working on it. Brent's been bouncing things off of me. So, but here's the thing: 5 things to do every day. This business is built daily, not in a day. It's those daily deliberate actions. Re-listen every day, find new two people every day, whether it's agents or whether it's buyers and sellers. Set at least 1 or 2 appointments on a daily basis. Make 2 encouraging calls as you're building your organization, encouraging other people, and then focus on your dreams. Focus on your why. That's why I build a vision board, and we recommend you do that because I look at it every day. It's on the other side of my computer. And live by your calendar, not your emotion. Book it in the calendar. I know if it's not in my calendar, it's not going to get done. So I'm very conscious of working by my calendar, not my emotion. I put it in there, and I time block. I do my outreach to people on a daily basis, all those kinds of things. And as we talk about, there's 7 pillars to building a large rev share organization. Obviously, list building, and this goes hand in hand with production too, but list building, invite scripts, registrations, post-call booking, follow-up, follow-through to attend, 3-way call execution, verbal commitment and onboarding, helping people build their organization, that first 30 days when you get them started. And so this morning on the fire call, they went over the list building, the first pillar of building your business. All starts with a list. All starts with a list of names of the people you're going to follow up and follow through on. So your pipeline starts with a list. This week, spread the good news and build the pipeline like professionals. And your workday is already building your list. That is, appointments introduce you to agents, transactions introduce you to professionals, events introduce you to connectors. Every conversation can reveal a relationship. This is a relationship building. We're building a relationship with other people. And your daily habits: notice, capture, and continue. And opportunities all around us. You look at how well we're connected today. At least we have exposure to a lot of people. Connecting is a little bit different because you want to connect. You want to reach out and communicate to connect, not just to connect and influence to help people. So names are in your phone, names are in your old text, names are in Facebook messages, names on Instagram, DMs, direct messages, names in the past transactions, names in your local market, This week, we turned scattered opportunity into structured pipeline. So, recognize your list and start making plans around your list and plans to connect with people. And so notice who crosses your path every day: co-op agents, listing agents, buyer agents, broker owners, team leaders, new licensees, lenders, title partners, inspectors, appraisers, vendors. Incidentally, all these people, that are affiliates we work with, they all know agents. They all know people that could really use our help. And listen, in fact, a mortgage broker is really good people to connect with because through the funnel pilot, you can get the opportunity, the lender can get the opportunity to help a lot of agents and be able to get loans in the process of doing that. So it's a really good thing. But notice people daily. Your work is already just, bring fruition to the names that you have on your list. And so capture enough contact. See, when you connect with somebody, I learned this years ago in real estate when I was a brand new agent, that every time I connect with somebody, on the back of a business card or in a notepad, I'd just write down information on that person. I'd write down their name, where I met, category, which group, remember whether buyer, seller, agent, next conversation, what would be used to discuss. Ask about, we're all taught to ask connecting questions. Ask about, we used to call it family, occupation, recreation, and message. So, it's a conversation opener. Find out more about that person. Ask questions off of questions. But here's a key thing. They should talk 20 to 30%, and you should talk 70, 80, or excuse me, the opposite of that. Sorry about that. I make the mistake all the time and talk too much. But anyway, you should talk only 20, 30% and them 70, 80%, because you're finding out about that person, how you can connect with them, how can help them, what their family's all about, and the beauty of technology today, I use Granola a lot, which is an AI that when I'm talking to people, kind of takes notes for me, but I make notes, personally. And when I first was in real estate, I make notes on the back of a business card, on my notepad, just to reconnect. So when I call them next time, it's like we're continuing the conversation, not starting all over again. And it's a very important. I have a notebook here. I know it's a little bit old school, but this notebook, every appointment I have, I write down notes of what I want to accomplish. I have it right here in front of me, all the notes that I want to accomplish, and my optimum I want to accomplish on that call, and the minimum I want to accomplish, and notes about that person. And so use the system will actually maintain whatever that system is for you. It could be a CRM, it could be a notepad. I recommend a CRM. But what gets captured gets remembered. What gets renewed can be prioritized or reviewed. I'm sorry, gets reviewed can be prioritized. What gets followed up can grow. One simple list, one place you trust, one next conversation. That's why I keep a notebook. Everything's in here now. I have volumes of them now because I fill out the notebooks with how many contacts I make and all the information. So I always can reference back to them. And I can use, my Granola or Plod, whatever you want to use, to kind of recapture that. And one thing I like about Granola, when I finish a conversation with somebody, Granola will prioritize the steps next back based on the conversation. I just edit it to make sure it's accurate. And then change the lens, we see opportunity. See, success is when opportunity meets preparedness. Be prepared all the time. Be engaged in a business. Be engaged on these Zoom calls. Be engaged on, the meetings you go to, the audios you listen to, the podcasts you're on, all those kind of things. There's so many resources within our organization. You go to brentgove.com. You could go to the media section. You can watch all those videos on there, all those, and Brent has a podcast, Ed Milet, I'll get on him and just for inspiration, Napoleon Hill, all these kinds of things is just immerse yourself or marinate yourself into success. And when it's top of mind, you'll recognize the opportunity because our reticular activating system recognizes opportunity. It's kind of like, they use the example of the Tesla. I remember Ed Milet talking about this. I bought a Tesla. All of a sudden, I noticed every Tesla on the road. And they were always there, but now you notice them. And so that's when you're focused on what your goal is. You'll notice a buyer, you'll notice a seller, you'll notice an agent who needs help. You'll notice that. And so that's when, again, opportunity meets preparedness. Look for readiness. I mean, when you're talking and having conversation, especially with like affiliates, mortgage brokers, escrow officers, home inspectors, whatever it is, look for, people who are looking, producing. They are taking action and creating results? Growth minded. Are they growth minded? Leading or connecting? Open to more? Frustrated but ambitious. Maybe they're frustrated with generating enough leads, which is a big issue today. What agents need are more sales. And that's why the funnel pilot program is such a unique thing to be offering at no charge to the agent. No referral fees, just a little bit of ad spend, and they set everything up for you. And that way you get you really help agents at their point of need. It's not about brokerages. It's about helping them create production, helping them make more money for their family. So it's all about their family. And add 50 names. I challenge you, just over this next week, add 50 more names. They're all over the place. You can actually go to homes.com, look up your area and look at all the agents in that area. Or if you want to have buyers and sellers, they're out there. Of course, a funnel pilot will provide, 75 to 100 leads on a monthly basis. So that's not going to be a difficult thing. And then every transaction creates a relationship. Leads and appointments, agents and referral partners, contracts, lenders, title partners, and coordinators. We develop great relationships with all those people. For the agents that we brought on in our organization were referred to us by my escrow officer. I mean, I've known her for years prior to real estate, or prior to her being involved in the escrow business. I knew her. And so inspections, can lead inspectors, appraisers, and vendors, closings, agents, attorneys, clients, connectors. Now, depending on what state you're in, sometimes attorneys are more engaged in the real estate transaction. Get to know them. You can generate business that way. In fact, we have a newer agent in Atlanta, Georgia. She went to law school, and one of her classmates in law school happens to be a big divorce attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, and made the connection. And she's referring clients when they need help in a divorce situation. So they're all over the place. So growth wants to build more or improve, looking for people who want growth, frustration, leadership. I mean, a lot of people, an agent we're bringing on right now. She was on the live call 2 weeks ago, had a three-way call with Jay today. She's a little frustrated where she's at because she's not getting any help. And she wants help with building, or she wants help with setting herself up financially, not just from real estate, but also from, obviously building an organization, but also advice. People who've been down the road longer than she has. And she could really see the collaboration, how we all work together, because we don't compete against each other. We collaborate with each other. We know that a rising tide raises all ships. So she's looking for leadership to kind of mentor her in her life, business wise. And then curiosity. What are you doing? Always be curious when you're talking to people. I always ask, how's your production? What are your goals? What's your plan to get there? Who's helping you? All those kinds of things. What's the biggest obstacle to accomplishing what you want to accomplish? So I always ask those things. Listen for an opening. Do not force the conversation. That's why I always build it around building a relationship, not necessarily about business or brokerage or anything like that. Just trying to add value to them, and then review the people you interacted with. That's what I mean by taking notes and putting notes down on the people you meet. Review that. Look for ways to get back to them and add value to them. Capture every name worth remembering. Categorize. Place person in the right group. Where'd you meet them? That kind of thing on, like I did on the previous slide. Schedule. Decide the next conversation you're going to get with them. And the way I always want to lead a conversation is I think of something I can add value to them. Call them up and say, hey, we got this event coming on. It's the 17th of September. It's John Pooh. He's going to be coming in and he's going to talk about how to create raving fans in your business, all about production. Or it could be a Zoom that you're plugging into. Hey, we have this Zoom with Sherry Patterson or Peterson. The people that you can connect with and get them on Zooms, because it doesn't cost them any time to be on Zooms. Like for instance, every Wednesday we have the Now Nation. They always bring on top producer on the Now Nation, and that's at 10 a.m. That's Randy Bird's organization called Now Nation. There's all sorts of things you can plug in. The 1% Club or Mastering Sales tomorrow with Brent Gove at 2:10 p.m. Almost every Tuesday. And so you can plug into those. So The list grows inside the work. Notice the people, capture the context, continue the relationship, build a habit, everyday activity. It's not like I go out prospecting. I prospect everywhere I go. Everywhere I'm going, my antennas are up. Why? Because opportunities when success or success is when opportunities prepare. I'm prepared all the time. My antennas up. When I was first in real estate, I could hear the word real estate at 50 yards. I would be in a restaurant and I could hear a couple 3 tables over talking about real estate. It used to drive my wife nuts a little bit. I just go over there, be just 20 seconds of boldness, go there. Hey, I hope I'm not interrupting you. I couldn't help but hearing you talk about real estate. Are you looking for a property in the area? And I just open up and have a conversation with them. Sometimes it went somewhere, sometimes it didn't. It just was be open to the conversation. And make a list of names. I have a list of names on on my a journal, but I also have it in my CRM. Always put everything in the CRM, but sometimes I separate it out because what I'm going to do that week, I'm going to kind of highlight it, take it out of my CRM, just to have it in front of me. Now all the details are in my CRM, and then when it comes to the call, very simple. Call them up. I had a couple of calls today. Have a conversation with them. I always ask them what we call TMAA. Tell me about yourself. How's your production? What challenges do you have? All these kind of things. And then I just say, hey, listen, let me ask you something. Would you be open to a system that adds 2 to 3 extra deals per month to your business and requires no cost to you? Now that's depending on their marketplace. Sometimes I'll use this example and not, but sometimes, in the marketplace, that's an extra 20 to 30,000 a month to your bottom line. It's $250,000 a year. No system costs, no setup fee, no back end splits, fully built, fully implemented. Does that done for you? Would you take a look? And I invite them to the live call. The live call is every Thursday at 10 a.m. And so here's the key lines and just what I said. Would you be open? 2 to 3 extra deals, zero cost to you, etc. And I'll just share Jay Kinder's version of this. Let me click on this.
The goal is, hey man, if I could help you add 2 to 3 deals a month to your business, would you be open to it if it didn't cost you anything? How many of you the answer would be yes? You like paying Zillow 41%? Anybody? What if you didn't have to pay a referral fee, you didn't have to pay a split, you didn't have to pay anything, no upfront fees, no upsells, no nothing, and they just did it all for you? Would you be open to it? Hey, join my webinar on Thursday. If that was your recruiting message, do you think you could become a recruiter? You think you could recruit 1 a month or be a rock star like me and do 2 a month? Right.
Yeah, and it's really that simple. And then when you're on the phone with them, I have 3 calls tomorrow. When I'm on the phone with them, first of all, before I get on the phone with them, I fill out the invitation form. Mine is expandwithclark.com/live. Whatever your URL is, I pre-fill that out. So while I'm in the conversation with them, if I know that they're going to jump on the call, I'll send that to them and I'll wait till they actually receive it before getting off the phone. And before getting off the phone, I've always been taught book a meeting off a meeting. So not only do I confirm that they received the invitation, because sometimes they go into junk files, and so forth, I want to make sure they received it so I know whether I have to resend it to them or not. And then I just say, listen, the call ends about 11:30. Are you open about 11:30, 12 o'clock? I usually say 12 o'clock in case it runs a little bit late. And are you open to, let's get on a Zoom call, quick 10-minute call. We'd love to get your feedback and answer any questions. Fair enough? And I have them book it every single time. Sometimes it has to move to Friday morning if they're busy on Thursday, but I always try and get it on Thursday. And like last week, I had 4 follow-up calls right after the live call, and 2 of them were very interested. And the results of that are pretty remarkable. But you always book that discovery or what we call follow-up call after the call on Thursday, and then you take them to the next step that they're willing to go. And 3-way calls are critical. I had, 2 3-way calls today. I have 2 set up with Jay tomorrow. And Wednesday, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to go to Denver for the Denver build. And so invites, discovery calls, 3-way calls. I mean, don't try and do it all yourself. we're all in this thing as a team. We want to all help each other. And this is a way to do that. So the results are about 50 people, 50% of the people we talk to actually register for the live call. Uh, Out of all the people that register for the live call, at least 50% show up. And then 50% of the people that watch the whole live call actually get started with us. That's a pretty unique ratio. So use and leverage the system to help you build your organization. Don't try and do it yourself. And goals that we recommend, I'm just going to kind of go over this. Everybody has a goal setting card, but basically the key thing is item number 4, weekly goal. How many conversations? How many live call attendance? How many times have you explained the model to them? And three-way Zooms, and what your daily calls are. How many calls, and how many conversations you actually have. Sometimes it takes 10 calls to have 5 conversations. I mean, that's pretty normal. And then we know it's predictable. It's those daily deliberate actions that are predictable. It's the 7 pillars: list building, invite scripts, registration, post-call booking, follow through to attend, three-way call execution, verbal commitment and onboarding, and it's really simple. It's those daily deliberate actions. The more consistent, persistent, and frequent you do the 7 pillars, you develop momentum and time. So you want it, and then you hunger for it, then you need it, and then all of a sudden, because you put in the time, the consistency and persistently, the hoppers fill up, pretty soon you start getting consistent results, and then you'll hit a flash point where you get momentum. And it's the same in production as the same in attraction. Works the same way. And so just keep climbing, keep at it. See, it's a principle of momentum. It's a law of compensation. It's a law. And in fact, it's kind of like if you jump off a building, you're not going to prove the law of gravity, you're going to confirm it. Same thing with the law of compensation. When you follow the proven principles, 7 pillars consistently and persistently, the results will be there. So many people have succeeded already. We got so many examples of it. It's not like we're guessing with it. Just like the law of gravity, when you jump off a building, you don't prove it, you confirm it. Trust the process. In other words, marry the process, date the results. If you marry the process and stick to the process, the results will come. And then on a weekly basis, as you know, we have the fire service. I know I kind of went over a lot of things on the fire service on the call tonight. And that was at 7:30 this morning. For those of you that get up early, it's well worth it. Zoom with Albie, it's all about mindset. And then, of course, we have our call every single Monday at this time at 5 o'clock. And then this is for all the apprentices out there. This is a AI assistant. You can ask it any questions, text any questions to them. Hey, I need the link to office hours. I need the link to this. I need the link to that. Incidentally, I put in my contacts this number, but I also put in their office hour URL. I put in, the 24-hour hotline. I put all those in my calendar because sometimes I'm on the phone with them. Here, let me just send it to you. And then you can just click on it. And anyway, the big black book has all the scripts, everything in there. That's a dynamic document, incidentally. It's digital. They're updating it all the time. And then, of course, we have our funnel pilot call every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And the next inner circle that we have is going to be September 15th on Zoom, 6 p.m. I'm trying to get Brent Gove. He hasn't responded back to me. He's been traveling in Colorado, so we'll find out soon. But we have Wendy Goss next Tuesday, September 1st. She's a luxury superstar in luxury real estate, but really down-to-earth person. I mean, drives Harleys and a Jeep. I mean, she just has incredible teaching on luxury, and she's also pretty much a master of AI too. So she's going to be on our Zoom call next Tuesday, September 1st, 6 p.m. And then we have EXPCon coming up. This code is still working, 20%. Also, when you buy a ticket, you can invite a guest there free on the Explorer Pass. That's a pretty good value. And it's right there in Salt Lake City. Got great things planned for it. We Catch the Wave breakout on October 7th. All the top attractors within EXP are going to be speaking there. We got Jay Kinder, we got Tina Call, we got Shelly Johnson, we got In fact, most of these people have been on our Zoom calls, and but it's going to be fun. Leo, what's his last name? Leo Robles, Casey, Jiha, she's amazing, and then we also have John Pooh who's going to be speaking there, and Larry White. So all great speakers. And then you're invited. We have a very special VIP reception in the presidential suite with Brent on Thursday the 8th at 8 o'clock. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then this is kind of the simplified schedule for EXPCon. You catch the one to three, catch the wave, phenomenal. And then we'll go immediately into there to the general session where Gary Vee is going to be speaking and also has a VIP reception on here. And that just came out in our newsletter last Friday also. So the next team talk is going to be September 1st, and it'll be at 5 p.m. Looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. Is that September? I'm sorry. That's actually August 31st. I apologize. I got Monday and Tuesday mixed up. So August 31st at 5 p.m. That's next Monday. It's going to be great. So the next wave is coming. Time to catch the wave. The future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Put life in your goals and dreams tomorrow by what you do today. Your future self will thank you. And our theme of our organization is have fun, make money, make a difference. Let's go out, have a lot of fun. Like making real estate fun again. Make a lot of money. More importantly than anything, help a lot of people, make a difference in other people's lives. So great to be on the call with you.